Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to my channel, Gardening Cold Spring Harbor. For those of you who are new to my channel, I'm in Long Island, New York, Zone 7A. We are finally in the month of November. First and foremost, I want to mention to you guys that many more of you have been writing messages to me asking me for gardening help and gardening advice. Many more of you have been leaving comments under my gardening videos, and I want to let each and every single one of you know how much I truly appreciate all of your feedback, all of your comments. I want to remind you guys that I read each and every single one of your messages and comments, and I personally respond to each and every single one of you guys. So don't be shy, don't be afraid. Reach out to me, talk to me, guys. I love communicating with each and every single one of you. So I've been looking at all the comments and all the messages, and I put together a list of top 10 questions that you guys had for me. You've been seeking more gardening advice from me, and I've been answering and replying to every single one of you. So in today's video, I want to cover top 10 questions that home gardeners have now in the fall seasons, specifically in the month of November. So I'm going to reach each and every one of those 10 questions, and I'm going to answer all of these 10 questions together in this video with you guys. For those who are looking for that online gardening channel that offers tips, tricks, easy, yet proven gardening advice to take your home garden to that next level. Don't go anywhere, guys. Stick around with me today. Start with going below this video and clicking the subscribe button. If you're enjoying the content of my videos and never want to miss another new upcoming gardening video, click the bell icon as well. YouTube will notify you every single time I'll upload a new gardening video. Now come with me, let's talk about these top 10 gardening questions. Without any further ado, let's start with question number 1 that many of you have been asking me. So that first question is, and I'm going to read it straight from my channel. The question says, what if I run out of time this fall season to prevent spray my fruit trees as well as other plants in my home garden? Is that okay? What will happen? So the answer to this question is, if you had limited to no diseases or pests on your fruit trees or your plants this growing season, then I would say it's okay to skip the preventative spraying this fall season. I don't recommend that you do that, but if you run out of time for whatever reason or you do not want to do it, it's okay. However, come spring season, that spring season spray treatment will be an absolute must for you guys. But I recommend that you do find that time. Just come out that once. Mix your copper fungicide, your orchard spray mix, your neem oil. Just give it a quick, thorough spray, and your trees will be better off come winter and spring season. So when spraying down your trees, there are always 4 key rules. Number 1, you must always spray when the foliage is still on. Number 2, you must always prevent spray your trees when your trees are in that dormancy phase. Next, you must always spray your trees before they bloom, and last but not least, after they're done blooming. So those 4 steps are crucial. Let's move on to question number 2, guys. Question number 2, and I'm reading it straight from my channel. I just purchased a hydrangea plant shrub on fall clearance sale, but is it too late to plant it into the ground? The answer to that question is, I know that many garden centers and nurseries do have great clearance sales going on now. So the rule is, if you guys still have at least 2 weeks before you get freezing temperatures, you're good to plant your hydrangea plant or any other plant for that matter into the ground. Just check your forecast beforehand, guys. Make sure that you have at least 2 weeks of plus positive air temperatures in the gardening zone in which you live. Say you're checking the forecast and the temperatures fluctuate. You have positive weather one day, negative temperatures the next. I recommend that you hold off and not plant your shrubs into the ground yet. You might want to transplant them into a larger container, but keep them inside or covered with some kind of a frost protection cloth or fabric or burlap during the winter season, and wait until next spring season to plant shrubs into the ground. Also, a very quick reminder, guys, when you are spraying your trees or rose shrubs or anything else for the matter in your home garden, always remember to not only spray the foliage or the leaves, you want to spray the branches on all sides. You want to make sure that you get that insecticide or that fungicide on the tree trunk or the shrub trunk as well. And do not forget to spray the ground below. So anything where the root system might be, whether you have mulch on top of it, whether just topsoil, remember pests and diseases can easily overwinter in the dirt, in the soil. Then wake up come spring and crawl right back up and attack our plants once again. So I make sure that I spray down that soil area right below the plant or the tree thoroughly and diligently as well. Remember, guys, the plants, the trees, the shrubs that you may purchase now in the fall season from a garden center or nursery, whether they're on sale or not, they are not mature, not yet established plants. Hence, you do not want to risk planting them in the ground in your home garden when the temperatures can unexpectedly dip below freezing. So always check that forecast. And if you do see that the temperatures will still be on the positive, on the plus side for at least 2 weeks, then I highly recommend that you hurry up and plant those trees, those shrubs, those plants into the soil of your home garden ASAP. Here you go, guys. Moving on to question number 3. And that question is, when you have mulch under your trees, do you have to remove it in the fall season to prevent insects and or disease from overwintering in it? So to answer your question number 3, guys, we should go back and start with the basics, which is why we from the get-go use mulch or place mulch underneath our trees and or our plants. The first reason typically is for weed prevention. And reason number 2 is to help retain the moisture, to help our plant's root system get all of the moisture that it needs, especially during the hot summer months. So I personally here in Zone 7A never ever remove any of the mulch from under my trees or under my plants in the fall season, guys. Why? First and foremost, it will naturally disintegrate and disappear on its own. The mulch that I use is not rubber mulch. It's natural wood shavings mulch. So it will naturally disintegrate over a period of time and will disappear. As I just mentioned, I never personally remove any of the existing mulch from beneath my trees or my plants in my home garden. But when I do the preventative spraying on my trees, my roses, some other plants in my home garden, I always make sure that I spray the mulch layer underneath my trees, my rose shrubs, and my plants as well. What does that help? What does that spraying help with? It helps kill any, if not all, of the pests or diseases such as fungal diseases, bacteria diseases that might be harboring within that existing mulch. One tip that I must share with you guys, if you do decide to do this preventative spraying with either copper fungicide, orchard spray, neem oil, maybe you guys have some other sprays that you use, make sure that you do not spray your trees or your plants when the temperatures are freezing outside. The temperatures must be between 10 to 13 degrees Celsius, which is roughly about 60s, lower to upper 60s at least outside. Otherwise, you're basically just wasting your time. The spray that you will apply to the foliage, to the tree trunk, to the branches will not properly absorb and will not properly do the job that you want it to do. So remember, the temperatures must be somewhere in the 60s, maybe upper 50s, but not anywhere below that if you want that preventative spray treatment to be useful and successful. Moving on, guys, question number 4. Question number 4 reads, what do I use to cover the root area under my trees with for the late fall/winter seasons? This is an excellent question, you guys. I would have to say that this question probably pertains more to younger trees, less established trees with weaker root system. Well, what can you use to cover the plant's root system to protect it per se from harsh, cold winter seasons? You can use mulch, turf, compost, a mix of compost and topsoil. You can even use wood shavings. Just try to not use the artificially dyed ones. Try to use, as clean and as natural shavings as possible. I do not like to use any kind of rubber mulching. I stay away from it as much as possible. But again, mulch, turf, compost, mix of compost and topsoil, shavings. In fact, you can even make your own mix. You can mix wood shavings with sand, clean sand, yes. And you can put that on top underneath your tree, around the tree's root system. Any of those are excellent options and they will help keep the root system more protected during cold winter months. So now, guys, when it comes to trying to protect our trees' vulnerable, delicate root system, remember, there's one tip that I want to share with you. It's easy, yet it's proven. You never want to cover all the way to the tree trunk. You always want to leave a distance between 5 to 7 centimeters away from that tree trunk. So always leave a empty space of 5 to 7 centimeters around the tree trunk, and then start adding the protective layer. Why? Because we're not trying to warm the tree trunk, guys. We're trying to warm the root system. We're trying to keep that sensitive, delicate root system warm and intact during the cold winter months. So 5 to 7 centimeters away from the tree trunk. We're moving along quite quickly, guys. We're up to question number 5. Question number 5 states, where is it best to plant our hydrangea shrubs? Is it true that you cannot plant hydrangeas next to certain plants? Another great question you guys asked. What an amazing question, actually. I know that many of us, when we see hydrangeas sold at a garden center or nursery, I always so tempted to purchase one because the blooms are a showstopper. I don't deny it. I have quite a few hydrangea shrubs as well as hydrangea trees here in my home garden that I have purchased and planted. So to answer your question number 5, when you have purchased a hydrangea shrub, make sure the location in which you plant it will be a full sun location. More sun, the better. Hydrangeas love sunlight, direct sunlight. So that is very, very important. Next, to answer the question, can you not plant it in certain spots, say next to other plants? So the only rule that I would think of is do not plant your hydrangea tree or hydrangea shrub anywhere near or nearing other tall trees or tall plants. So why is it that we shouldn't be planting our new hydrangea shrubs or trees near other taller trees or plants? Well, the answer is actually very simple, guys. If you do that, your new hydrangea shrub will be competing for sunlight, for water, for nutrients, and even for root space with that other nearing tall plant. Hydrangeas do need as much sunlight as possible. They do need consistent, adequate watering. They do need that space to expand their root growth. And they also need that nutrition, those vitamins. And if you do plant it near another tall tree or another tall plant, the hydrangea shrub will start to suffer as it will be in full competition mode with that other tree. That large tree will suck up all the water from your hydrangea shrub. It will interfere with the hydrangea's root expansion and root growth. And it will suck up all those vitamins, all those nutrients that you're trying to feed to your hydrangea plant. So be very mindful as to where you're planting or transplanting your hydrangea shrubs. Question number 6, guys. Another wonderful, very, very important question to ask. So thank you so much for asking this question. The question number 6 reads, when in the fall should you stop mowing your lawn? What a great question, guys. So the answer to question number 6 that you guys asked is at least 2 weeks before freezing temperatures. Check your forecast, guys. Check 7 days in advance, 10 days in advance, 14 days in advance. If you see your temperatures are gonna start dipping, stop mowing your lawn. And another thing, the closer you get to colder, especially freezing temperatures, you should raise the blade on your lawnmower higher. So typically when we mow during the summer months, the blade is at about 4 to 6 centimeter height, meaning it does tend to cut the grass more shorter. However, now in the fall, we should raise the blade up so we don't cut our grass that short. So how much higher should you raise our blade by? At least 1.5 centimeters to 2 centimeters. So say your blade was at 4 centimeters, now in the fall it should be at 6. If your blade was originally at 6 centimeters, adjust it to 8 centimeters at least. Question number 7, guys. When using a frost protection fabric, what is the best and most successful way to attach it to our raised garden beds? When using frost protection fabric of any sort, any brand, I always highly recommend using hoops to help secure and attach that frost protection fabric. Why? Because you never want that fabric to be laying directly on top of the soil. Not only is that going to start to suffocate the soil, because the soil will start lacking that air circulation that it still needs. Also, say you have some plants growing there that you started from seed early spring. If that fabric, that frost protection fabric is laying directly on top of your soil, it's going to cripple those tiny little seed sprouts. It's not going to allow your seedlings to grow higher, up, and straight. Again, because that fabric is tightly attached right to the top surface of your soil. So if you are using any sort of frost protection fabric, invest in those hoops, guys. Or if for whatever reason you can't, maybe you can be creative. Find some kind of poles or sticks, some way to elevate that frost protection fabric above the soil level, guys. Also, guys, if you place your frost protection fabric directly on the soil, many of our crops may start to suffer due to that suffocation, lack of air circulation, lack of sun. And that can hurt them way worse than, say, freezing temperatures. Question number 8 that you asked, and this is one of my favorite questions actually, because it has to do with roses. And I know how many of us grow roses in our home gardens. And in fact, one of the most popular videos on my gardening channel has to do with roses. It's how do you tell if your rose is dead or still in its dormancy phase. That video has received lots of views, lots of comments, and I'm so happy to see that many of you have found this video to be useful, informative, and helpful. So thank you so much, guys, for all of your continuous support. For those of you who haven't seen this video, maybe you're still interested in seeing this video. Guess what, guys? It's still available on my gardening channel, Gardening in Cold Spring Harbor. So take a look at that video as well. So now question number 8. The question number 8 states, I cover my roses with boxes during the late fall, winter seasons. If I can't remove the boxes in time and temps start to go up drastically come early spring season, will my roses die? So now, guys, I have never personally tried to cover my roses with cardboard boxes because we do have quiet, wet falls and winters here in Long Island, New York, Zone 7A. But for those of you maybe living in drier gardening zones that don't get as much rain or snowfall, and you do cover your roses to protect them against, colder temps, thumbs up, guys. I'm so proud of you for taking the step, for trying this. So the answer to your question is, if it's a few days of those warmer temps, and for some reason, say you're not home, maybe you're on vacation, maybe you're away at a friend's home, let's say you're busy with your family and you cannot get around to taking off those protective boxes from your rose shrubs, I think your rose shrubs are going to be just fine if it's a few days. But remember, any type of layering that you put on your rose plants, whether it's a box, whether it's fabric, whether it's a tarp, will eventually start acting like a thermos, creating that warmer atmosphere inside of it. So now, if you do not get to it just in time and you leave it in that box for too long, your rose shrub may start to suffer. Once you place any sort of a protection cover on your rose plants, including boxes, including tarps, you are creating a warmer environment inside. So basically those covers, again, act like a thermos. They warm up the internal temperature, and hence the rose is getting its own microclimate now. So actually, guys, for those of you who never tried covering your rose shrubs for the winter season, regardless of what you use as a cover, when you pull off this cover in the spring season, you might be surprised, shocked, and actually impressed in a good way, because you might see your rose actually covered in fresh green foliage. So now, guys, because you did cover your rose plant or shrub with a box or a frost protection fabric of some sort, again, you did create a different microclimate inside that protection layer. So when you pull off that protection layer, don't be shocked. Don't be surprised if you'll see lots of green foliage as if it's the summer season. However, I do recommend that you use a fabric of some sort to cover and protect your roses with versus a box, because again, the air circulation will be much better. So is the sunlight source. Your plant will not get that much air nor sunlight if you're covering it up with a box versus a protective fabric. So I always recommend using a fabric over any type of a box. Now, one more tip when it comes to covering and protecting our roses for the cold winter season is if you are using a frost protection cover or fabric of some sort, remember to double wrap it around your rose plant. One layer of the fabric will not be enough. It will be too thin to protect your rose and will not serve its purpose. At least 2 layers of that fabric should and most likely will do the job. Moving on, guys, question number 9. And this question is also about roses, which I love so very much. So question number 9 reads, what should I do with my roses now in the fall season, if anything, to prepare them for the cold winter season? Actually, guys, there's quite a few things that you can and indeed should do now in the fall to get our roses ready for that cold, just nasty winter season. So now, fall care when it comes to our rose plants or rose shrubs. First and foremost, guys, now is the perfect time to act on that fall care. It's going to help your rose shrubs so much if you take these few easy yet proven steps. First and foremost, we should go and cut off any and all of the spent blooms on our rose plants. We do not want our rose shrub to waste all the energy into producing those hibiscus looking bulbs. We want the energy to go back into the rose plant's root system. Number 2, if you see any weeds growing anywhere within the vicinity of the rose shrub's root system, remove the weeds. Clean up the soil surface below our rose shrubs. Any of the foliage that might have fallen might have insects or disease harboring in it, and we want to rake it all out. If you see any long, unruly branches, say all the branches are same and then you have one branch that's sticking too high up, sticking out to the side somewhere, just looks weird, cut those down to the height, to the sizing of the other branches. Basically prune down your shrub just a little bit. Next, if you see any leaves that are yellow, brown, have any fungal disease such as black spot on them, you must remove all of them. Cut them off and discard them. Never let them lay on the ground below your rose shrub. That fungal disease will spread and will come right back on to your rose shrub. Next, if you see any dead branches, any dying branches, remember, do the nail scratch test, where we take our index finger and we scratch the branch or the stem of our rose plant. If you see anything green in there, that means the branch is still alive and living. If the branch is just dry, you touch it, it just snaps off. Or you do the scratch test and there's no green like meat, substance inside. That's it, guys. Those branches are dead. Cut all of them off now in the fall season. Again, there's no reason for a rose plant to waste all its energy in sustaining those dead or dying branches. Now, last but definitely not least step when it comes to fall care in our rose shrubs. I always highly recommend, and I do the same myself, is I spray my rose shrubs diligently, thoroughly, with a fungicide spray. I do like to use copper fungicide. It works amazing against fungal diseases as well as black spots on roses. It's by Captain Jack's. It's a Bonide. It's called copper fungicide. For those of you who are not familiar with it, it comes as a pre-mixed bottle or as a concentrate, which you can add tap water to and use a misting bottle or spray bottle to apply it to your rose plants. It's widely available in garden centers, nurseries, online, even on Amazon. I know Home Depot sells it, Lowe's sells it. I will link it in the comment section below. But that step is very, very important. If anything, any kind of disease is still living on the rose plant, this copper fungicide will help kill it and make sure that it doesn't come back next spring season. Remember, get the stem, the branches, any of the foliage that's left on your rose plant, the top of the leaves as well as the bottom. And don't forget the soil surface above the root system. That is super, super crucial. We don't want any bugs, pests, or disease overwintering and harboring in that soil. Last question, but definitely not least. Question number 10 that many of you have reached out and asked me about. So I'm going to read question number 10. Question number 10 states, I live in a warmer climate zone. I live in Florida, zone 9. I love growing watermelon. But do you think now in the fall, in November, is the right time to grow melons/watermelons here in my gardening zone? That question was very, very, interesting and very, very special to me. The way I answered that question was that it's not necessarily about the gardening zone in which you live. Melons and or watermelons are not only warm, they're hot temperature loving crops. They need at least 90 to 125 days, depending on the melon or watermelon varieties, from seed to harvest. So they do need those hot temperatures, not only to sprout, to grow, to set fruit, to grow that fruit, and to ripen that fruit. So it's not necessarily about the month, whether it's May, July, August, November. It's all about the temperatures. They do love temperatures above 80 degrees Fahrenheit. The hotter, the better. Plus, don't forget all the moisture that those crops will require. So if you know that you will have temperatures above 80 degrees, 85, 90, 95 for months and months. We're not talking weeks, guys. We're talking 3 to 4 to 5 months. Then absolutely the answer is yes. You can grow melons, watermelons even now in the month of October. But if you know that you're going to have temperatures in the 80s only for about a month, or even 2 months, that is not enough time to successfully grow melons or watermelons in your home garden, guys. So I hope that my answer was helpful, was able to answer your question, guys. So there you go, guys. We are through with my top 10 questions that you guys have been asking me. I've never done this kind of a video before, so this is my first. I guess I'll call it the Q&A, question and answer. So I hope that you guys enjoyed the content of today's video. I hope that you guys found this video to be useful, helpful, informative. And again, guys, don't forget that, again, I read every single one of your comments. I follow all of your messages. I respond to each and every single one of you. And yes, guys, I'm so happy to hear when you tell me that my gardening channel, my videos, My answers have been so helpful and useful in your own home gardens. I truly, truly, from the bottom of my heart, want to let you know how much I appreciate each and every single one of you. Thank you so much for continuous support. Thank you for watching my videos. Thank you for such sweet, heartwarming, positive comments. I truly appreciate you guys. Again, this is it for this video, you guys. Thank you so much for watching today. Today's video, I covered 10 top questions that home gardeners have now in the month of November. Again, guys, I can't say thank you enough. Thank you so much for watching today's video. If you found the content of today's video to be useful, helpful, informative in any way, show me that support by clicking thumbs up below. Again, don't be shy. Leave your comments in the comment section below as well. I read each and every one of your comments and I personally respond to you guys. For those of you who haven't yet subscribed to my gardening channel, Gardening Cold Spring Harbor, what are you waiting for, guys? Super easy for you to do, yet so pleasing and rewarding to me, knowing that you guys enjoy watching my videos, that you're following my channel, that you find the content of my videos to be useful, helpful, informative in any way. Click the bell icon as well if you want YouTube to send you notifications every time I'll upload a new garden video. Be healthy, be happy, be well, each and every single one of you. And happy gardening, guys. God bless you guys. And I'll see you soon again in my new upcoming garden videos. Bye, guys.